I think if you really want to push the edge of conspiracy now, we're kind of beyond the physical reality of conspiracy, where that's become overt and almost blatant. We know that the financiers of behind the Federal Reserve System are basically in bed with the military-industrial complex, that they're perpetuating these endless wars, financing terrorist groups, you name it, towards the end of a 1984 reality where the media basically tells us one day, this is your enemy, the next day, that's your enemy. It's changed day by day because there is no reality as far as the perception machine is concerned. It is the mighty Wurlitzer. So I think people are starting to realize that the facade is fading away, the curtain is being revealed, and we know that there's a wizard behind it. But really the question is, who are the wizards? Are we talking physical beings? Or are we talking interdimensional, something perhaps of an extraterrestrial origin, including our own? I think that's really where we want to push it. I would say that not only is our reality ruled by the multidimensional level, because all of existence is multidimensional. We know the 3 dimensions of reality plus time, but let's be honest, beyond that, what do we know of our own experience? We are very limited in our sense perceptions. So to begin to hypothesize that which was spoken about, going back to the ancient biblical knowledge, that the real opposers are the Archons and the principalities that rule, the rulers of darkness, right? Let's start to hypothesize that our own beings themselves are multidimensional, that the real question is the human soul, not the human body. And then if it's a question of soul, what entities or forces are influencing and affecting our soul at any point?
Oh shit.
This is the Weird Shit Podcast.
Is that a joint?
And I wouldn't flaunt your ignorance.
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
What are we talking about today?
So, like, earlier today I was researching this shit, and I had been researching it for so long that I worried that I was becoming too woke, because, like, literally I thought my brain was going to catch fire from the amount of wokeness that I was experiencing.
Okay. Alright.
So, today, I hope you guys are ready. Got on some, like, tinfoil hats, because this is a pretty ridiculous one. Today we're going to be talking
ridiculous ones are our speciality.
I know. That's what we specialize in. It's the weirdest shit imaginable, and this is pretty weird. Today we're going to be talking about the Archons.
This ain't no normal stuff podcast.
Yeah. The name of the show is not Normal Stuff Podcast.
Weird Stuff Podcast.
It's not Weird Stuff Podcast either.
Weird Things?
That's closer. That's a little closer to the name.
Strange Poopy Podcast.
That's what we should call it from now on. From now on.
Strange Poop.
It's a Strange Poop. Welcome to Weird Shit Podcast. This is Mike.
Hey. Welcome to the shitty poop.
What was it? Was it
This
Weird
is
Poop?
Strange Poopy Podcast.
Strange Poopy.
Welcome to Poop Shit. Poop Shit Podcast.
Welcome to Poop Shoot Podcast.
This is McTaggart.
And I'm McNagger. Wait, no.
Tim edited that part out.
Cut.
Hey, Tim, could you cut that part out?
No.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No cut.
So, what do you know about Archons, Palmer?
It's not a full circle. It's like a half circle. It's like an arc.
Okay.
And it's on something.
Okay. What do you know about Archons, Ryan?
So I think Archons are an entity you get when you take two High Templars and you merge them together.
Uh-huh.
I gotta Google this. I'm pretty sure that's how you get an Archon.
I think you might be right.
Hold on. So,
You get like 2 Templars to fusion dance.
yeah, you gotta get, yeah, 2 High Templars, you merge them together and you get an Archon. At least in StarCraft 2.
Okay.
That's all I know about Archons.
So, Archons, from the Greek archai, which means origins, beginning things, or prior in time, are basically... So this is... Okay, so there's basically 3 definitions for what an Archon could be, right? There's a level 1 Archon, which is cosmological.
Nice.
And what a cosmological Archon is in Gnostic cosmology, Archons are a species of inorganic beings that emerged in the solar system prior to the formation of the Earth.
Oh, they formed specifically here?
Yeah, they just emerged into our solar system before Earth was created.
So how do we know that?
In Gnostic
there.
texts, that's what it is.
Gnostic texts. Where are they? Okay.
So
What
they're
language do they speak?
they're basically they're literally like cyborgs that like showed up. Like, and this is like an ancient religion, and they're like cyborgs showed up into like the solar system. They're cyborgs inhabiting the planetary system, which is described as a virtual world, the stereoma, which I'm only going to call it this one time because I don't want to have to remember that word.
What'd you call it? Areola?
The areola. So
I like the word Gnostic. It's pretty dope.
honestly,
Are there
like,
any Gnostic areolas?
there's lots of them. There's a lot of
2
Gnostic
per
areolas.
person, from what I hear.
Yep, I've heard that too. There's also a lot of Gnostic weenuses all over the place.
What about vaginas?
Just be drowning in Gnostic weenus.
Do not abide the weaknesses of the Gnostics.
They're corrupting our kids.
Don't come at me with Gnostic weakness.
Get that weenus away from me. Put that weenus back.
I'm trying to think, like, is that how most people just start like a weird religion? Is they just start coming up with weird ass names of things to confuse people? Because, like, if you came to me and were just like, all right, so the world around us is an agnostic, like, they just like start making up all these words. I'm like, right,
Okay.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm totally following.
So,
I think.
so here's the thing with with Gnosticism. It was around before Christianity. It's like an ancient religion, like Zoroastrianism and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
then Christianity came along and kicked its ass. So
Yeah.
What?
Jesus.
Jesus was so swole, he just like broke the arms off of the cross and like hopped down and started punching those Romans.
I remember that.
And then as a side project, he made America, and that's where we are today.
So here's
The
the
world's
thing.
basically perfect.
Spartacus freed the slaves and teamed up with George Washington.
And they fought off the cyborgs and built the first America in a swamp, and that one sank into the swamp. And then they built the second America,
Even better.
and that one burned down. And then they built a third America. That one burned down, fell over, then sank into the swamp. But the fourth America,
was really racist.
that was really racist. And we just snapped up a bunch of dead slaves and Indians until it managed to keep us afloat.
But the fourth America, that one's really racist.
It's still mostly there, but
We just had to build it on the back of dead immigrants and natives.
exactly.
That's all.
Is that the one we're trying to put a wall around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How else are you going to keep it out the swamp? You gotta drain the swamp, or you gotta stack more slaves. That's all
do
you
you-
got.
How do you drain a swamp?
You got a hashtag first, and then that inputs the command code,
Oh,
and it drains it.
Apparently,
does that
you
work for
apparently
swamp ass?
Unfortunately, not.
to
Or
drain
my
a
butt.
swamp, you gotta play a lot of golf. A whole lot of golf.
Like at least a
8
week.
days a week.
At least. So, the cosmological
Twice a
Archons,
day.
they're considered a separate species than America, with their own proper habitat and may even be considered to be godlike, but they lack intentionality. So basically, they can't like make decisions for themselves, or like they can't create like that kind of thing. They're
Same.
just same. And
Right.
I'm following.
and basically,
always.
a lot of times they like intrude on the human realm, like.
While they're all up on our shit.
So they're really envious of like of humans because we are able to make decisions and create things and find our own like destinies and stuff like that. They're like apparently jealous because they can't do that.
They just see us sitting here, allegedly partaking of things, eating Cheetos, and they're just like, "Wish I could do that." Human bastards.
So I'm about to spew a lot of nonsense at you,
Like
but
normal.
so yeah. So the Gaia mythos describes how the Archons were produced by fractal impact in the dense elementary field arrays, DEMA, of the galactic limbs when the Aeon Sophia plunged unilaterally from the galactic core.
Right, I'm following.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, Sophia, which is like the creator goddess in Gnosticism, like Sophia is like the creator of everything, and I guess
She's
she got pegged with a meteor, and then
she's
these
like the
things
top
were like,
bitch.
She's
yeah,
like just under Tyler.
yeah, just under Dylon.
Dylon,
Dylon.
Tyler, Sophia,
Dylon, and Dylon.
then the other 4 Dylons.
So basically, she got pegged like with an asteroid.
Oh.
And that made these things like splinter off and come into existence.
So they're just like shards of her.
Yeah, that's why they have like no self-consciousness.
Huh.
They're just like
So they were just like
driven
growths.
What let's say, like, hypothetically, you just go out on like a Dragon Ball Z type mission, collect all of the different fragments and like put it together like a jigsaw puzzle. Would you make a dragon?
It actually turns her back into an island covered with like vines and stuff instead of being like a big magma monster.
So let's do it. What's style? There's like
Now we're just
like
like-
200 million people on this planet. I mean, we could easily do that.
And after we did it, we'd say, "You're welcome."
I would like a second wish.
No, see, that's where the first wish is just unlimited wishes. Then you're good.
No,
Every
just
time.
one more wish.
Every time.
Unless they specify that you can't wish for more wishes, in which case that seems really stingy. That's like when Golden Corral kicks you out after you've had like more than 4 plates. It's like you said, "Oh, I can eat, and I can still eat." So, did you lie to me?
What defines a plate? Is the whole table one plate?
I mean, it could
Anything
be.
can be a plate if
Yeah.
you believe.
What if I consider the hot bar to be my plate?
Just run and dive head first into,
That's why
into the hot bar.
what you do is you go into Golden Corral with like a grocery shopping cart and just fill it up with cheesecake and roll it right next to the fountain of melted
Oh, chocolate.
chocolate.
Just tilt it over on the
tilt
cheese.
it over. Roll that shit back to the table. One plate. I got 4 more
One
coming.
No tip.
No tip. So, the level 2 Archons.
There's levels. How
Yeah.
many levels?
The level 1 was cosmological, so there's 3 levels of Archons. So, level 2 Archons are noetic psychological Archons.
I know what that means. But how about you explain that to like Ryan what that means? Because like
Okay, so Ryan,
Yeah.
in Gnostic psychology,
Uh-huh.
the noetic science of the mystery schools,
Uh-huh.
Archons are like an alien force that will like latch onto your brain.
Okay.
Like but in a way where you don't realize it. So like they like sneak in and
so there could be one attached to my medulla oblongata right now.
Yeah.
That's why you're so ornery.
They like will turn our intelligence away from, quote, its proper and sane applications.
To what?
How do we scan for these? Is there a way to tell if you have one of these?
I'll get to that.
Tricorders can scan for anything.
I'll get.
So we need to get a tricorder, get it into the White House.
Space ghost fungus.
What you got to do is you got to roll yourself in flour and look for the wet spot. And wherever there's a wet spot on your body, that's where the Archon is.
That sounds right.
And then you just stab it with a knife.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So
that's how the Archons keep getting away with it.
So basically, they like will make you go against your intelligence. So like they make you.
I don't have
the
any.
Archons will turn the frogs gay?
They make us commit inhuman behavior to weird and violent extremes.
If you want to go on like a murder spree, you just claim temporary Archon insanity.
Yeah. Basically, before the Archons started latching onto us, we'd sometimes do bad things, but we'd always like apologize or try to make it better or things like that. But because of the Archons, they make you do more bad things because they feed off of the negativity that creates. So basically, they piggyback off of like your worst emotions. So like jealousy, anger.
So they come from like the Black Lodge.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they probably are exactly like the Black Lodge, because I'll get to like. I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's a couple different kinds of Archons. One is said to look like your classic reptilian, like your lizard person, right? Which, like, is scary. And the other one...
I am afraid.
The other type of Archon looks like a fetus.
Okay, I'm afraid.
That's like half dead, half alive. So
I was hoping you were going to say it was a cyborg fetus.
So here's the
fetus.
thing: it is a half dead, half alive zombie cyborg fetus.
Yes,
that is what an Archon is.
Does it have like a laser arm?
Probably. They're cyborgs.
How big is it?
So it's like microscopic. Like
I am afraid.
You can't see it.
How would one of these cyborg fetus Archons fare against a gnome in one-on-one combat?
I think they would probably make the gnome commit a bunch of horrible crimes.
Well, wait, no, hold on. But gnomes already create a whole bunch of horrible crimes. So wouldn't that turn the gnomes good?
No, because Archons feed off of the negativity.
Well, no, you said they feed off whatever your worst emotion is. And to gnomes, I think their worst emotion would be like spreading joy and happiness, right? I don't know. I feel like it would turn all the gnomes gay.
Could one of these cyborg fetuses withstand the strength of a gnome?
Yeah.
I mean, they might. They're considered godlike. So
they're 8 times stronger than human.
the gnome has to reach Super Gnome 4, and then push past Super Gnome 4 to Super Gnome God.
No, it's
and then you got to
Super
push
Gnome
past
Blue.
that to it's Super Gnome Blue, and then it's Super Gnome God.
Are these gnomes actually working for the Archons all this time? Is that why they spreading so much negative emotion? They infected with Archons?
They could be.
That's why that Keebler dude makes a whole bunch of cookies. Good.
He's pooping out all his negativity in the mix.
So here's the thing: they're considered psycho-spiritual parasites, but because they're also offspring of the Aeon Sophia, like we are, they're also like cousins or something, basically.
So I got like a whole bunch of microscopic cousins inside me.
Yeah.
Making you do crazy, weird,
It's like
violent shit.
it's like the inside of your like spirit is like a Alabamian trailer park. That's what's going on in your spirit right now.
Is that why you have to break your spirit?
Yep.
Yeah, so you can get them out of you. That makes sense.
So that's why the system isn't broken. It's breaking your spirit so that you don't go on a violent rampage.
Same.
So, Archons exist both as an alien species independent of humankind and as a presence within our minds.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
they got
they're
presence?
on, like, a different level of existence. Like, basically think of it like a computer program running in your brain. Like, that's how Archons work.
Beep boop.
Beep, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop. Beep,
Oh
boop.
God! Ah! Stop beeping!
Archon.
They don't really, physically, they can't really do anything to you, but mentally they can, is where they'll
They just say
fuck you
really,
up.
really harsh things.
Yeah.
They won't break your bones. But they'll say things that will really fuck you up.
Yeah. And they wait like a month, and then they like
They
drag
just
it
hit
out,
you.
and they hit you with it, like,
When your defenses are down.
and you're like, ah! And then you go into therapy.
It's a strong ass magnet.
They get you in your wallet. So, basically working
That's how they
through,
work.
they use like telepathy and suggestion to make us deviate from the proper course of evolution, because we're supposed to evolve to the point where we can become like fifth dimensional beings.
Or maybe even six-dimensional.
Maybe even sixth dimensional beings.
Now you just gotta level up. So once you hit fifth dimensional beings, then we have to get rid of the fifth dimensional zombie babies inside
Sure.
of us. Then once you do that, you can promote to sixth, and then it keeps going. I don't know what the top of that ladder is, but
We'll find
I
it.
feel like it's 12.
We'll get there.
I feel like there's only like 12 dimensions.
So,
The singing cowboy in the sky, would he be classified as an Archon?
yeah, probably. Although, I don't know, because he brings out the best parts of all of us.
I gotta watch it now.
So I don't know if it'll be. I don't know if it would be negative per se. So
Do you think gnomes could take him out?
yes, I do.
But he's like so huge. He just takes up the whole horizon.
Okay. So according to the Gnostics, Judeo-Christian salvationism is the primary ploy of the Archons, because they want us to only reach the fourth dimension of consciousness, which keeps us locked in the life-death rebirth cycle, so they can keep feeding on us for eternity, when what we want to do is we want to get beyond that idea of salvationism to the fifth level, fifth dimensional consciousness, which only humans are able to achieve, and they want to keep us from reaching that full potential.
So we're basically we're playing checkers,
And they play a Trump chess.
and they're playing underwater 4D backgammon.
Yeah. With like,
I don't even know how to play
Blindfold.
regular backgammon.
I think you have paddles. There's like a hula hoop.
so basically, our
Sounds
goal
right.
as humans is to recognize that the Archons exist and like move past those emotions.
I accept that.
Yeah. So like you accept that you have this potential for bad and you like move past it.
Is this something that could be exercised?
That's the thing, right? These things sound an awful lot like demons. And there's a lot of things that kind of line up with that idea, because demons are considered to be like an extra dimensional thing when you look into like the like spiritual investigation and stuff. Like demons are considered to be like an outsider type being, like so because these exist on like a different dimension than us, they could probably be demons, which would make you do worse things like a demon does. So
what kind of legal defense can you get if you're being messed with by an Archon? Are you kind of screwed?
you're kind of screwed, because there's been a couple people who tried to claim like demonic possession for like why they committed the crimes they committed. It doesn't work.
So you just gotta pretend to be regular insane, not Archon insane.
Yeah. Although if you start talking about the Archons, they might think you're just regular insane.
So it just works back on itself.
Yep. So, level 3 Archons are sociological Archons. Which basically...
Socioeconomic Archons?
Yeah. So, in the Gnostic view of human society, Archons are alien forces that act through authoritarian systems, including belief systems. So, like, the government. Can't trust the government. They're all ruled over by Archons.
That I believe.
The media. You can't trust the media because they're all ruled over by Archons. It's fake news. I'll get to why you can't trust the media as we get further into this discussion.
Who can you trust?
You can trust us. We are the only media you can trust. All other media is out to deceive you. We need to make our listeners.
Jesus.
We need to make our listeners as paranoid as like Alex Jones makes his listeners, because then you get more listeners.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Liberals.
I'm Bill Gates. So
I've read over like 200 naval books.
I'm not bragging.
I don't even know where I can know this stuff from. I really know like Greek and Roman naval history for a while.
So
But seriously though, if you get into a fight, I will destroy you.
it's basically belief systems and stuff that try to turn you away from the symbiosis of nature.
Okay.
So like am I gonna have to confiscate the phone?
Nah. It's Alex Jones.
You will not take my phone,
Obama, you stammer. This is what we look like. So, so like the Catholic Church, like the Catholic Church, it's a fact. Like no joke. Like, cause like okay, all right. So I guess now is as good a time to get into this as any. Let me pause it a sec and I'll really dig into this shit.
And we'll go for it. Who would like to start this afternoon's discussion? We'll start on this side over here. And who has the question?
Hi, Peas, it's Mary.
Mary. All right, Mary, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome also. Thank you very much for coming back. My question is around the recycling of souls.
The recycling of souls.
And how people, when they leave, I don't understand. Could you please talk to us about how souls are recycled and how people can avoid being recycled, if that makes sense?
Well, you're going to live again and again one way or another, because that is the nature of existence. To go into various realities, to experience them, and then at some point there is a termination, and one goes into a different reality. You call it death or the spirit world. For you, if you live 100 years, it's a long time, and then you die. If you are a Catholic, the priest may come by and say, "Would you like the last rites?" You say, "Yes, of course, I want to go to heaven. I must get blessed by you, even if you are a pedophile, so what?" Pardon our frankness, but we tell the truth. So, okay, I'm going to put the cross over your chakras. I'm going to put the Anunnaki cross and close them down. Now you are blessed. Now you're going to go to heaven. If you've been bad, you'll go to hell. At best, you'll go to purgatory. It's a scam, just like Bernie Madoff. So you die, and you believe this stuff. And you're afraid to die because you know that you've cheated on your wife, and you felt guilty your whole life. Or you stole from your partner, your business partner. They never knew. And at the end of life, it all comes crashing down. And as you are sick and you are dying, you are going, holy shit. I never thought I was really going to die, even though everyone around me, I saw them die. Plants, animals, birds, trees, people. Now it's my turn, and I'm scared. Well, I was a Catholic long ago, and they talk about heaven. I think I'll go back to it. I'll get those last rites, and I'll pray that I don't end up in hell. And maybe St. Peter will give me a bit of a kindness. So you go over with those beliefs. Guess where you end up? At the Anunnaki Recycling Center. What can we say? We really appreciate your ability to laugh at these stories, because then you are set free from them. Now, do you realize if this was 500 years ago and we were saying this, we would all be dead shortly? Is this a given? It's a given, because that was the time of the Inquisition. You're in a new kind of Inquisition today. In Inquisition, it is called political correctness. And just like the time of the Inquisition, when people were frightened to say what was going on, people are frightened today to admit what's really happening. So, how do you avoid the Anunnaki recycling? It is best for you to understand the world of spirit, the non-physical as it works with physical, rather than religions. You get yourself in the most recycling situation when you do the religions. And some people say, oh, but what about Buddhism? It must be the best. That Buddha was so kind. It's still a religion. And if you look at the history of the Buddhists, they pillaged and raped and killed and flailed all kinds of people. And then they have this kindly Buddha. Listen, you are tricked. And you need to have a plan, because you're all going to die. And the best plan you can have is that you intend to take all your wits with you, and everything you've learned in this lifetime you can accumulate as knowledge, and you intend to go over to meet your loved ones, and if they are trapped in the recycling, then you come to the party and you say hello and you go further. And you say, it is my intention to meet with my loved ones and then to reconnect with my higher self, my oversoul, that where I will retreat to my own home in the cosmos. And that would be the larger self that you are connected to. So when you immediately go over, don't aim for God or the pearly gates, aim for loved ones. Because loved ones will meet you. But loved ones may be stuck. And then once you have your reception and your greeting with the loved ones, always carry your wits about you to go further and to call yourself to reunite with the highest source from where you have come from, where there is no manipulation, where there's only freedom, respect, and joy. So, does that help you, Mary?
Yes, thank you very much.
Good.
Okay, so here's this.
No, here's
Do
it.
you guys know about the burning of the Library of Alexandria?
A little bit.
Okay, so basically all of human history had been like recorded and stored there by the Gnostics at the Library of Alexandria so that we could remember our origins. But when that got burned, it's like,
now you can make up whatever you
now
want.
you can make up whatever you want. Now you're catching on. So
when did that happen?
I have no idea what year that happened in.
It was like
It was
66.
It was a long time BC. I don't remember when.
I'm thinking like 10 years
Kennedy.
before Christ.
Yeah, it had to be.
Like
Maybe
if it was like 10 BC, it'd be like, it's a little suspicious.
10 years.
all of human records just got burned, and now all of a sudden Christianity's like, what up?
What up?
So this is This is how we started.
This is how we do it.
So, like, everybody thought that, like, all of that was lost until there was a discovery in 1945 of something called the Nag Hammadi Library, which was basically these texts that were written by the Gnostics and smuggled away in jars and, like, hidden away from the Library of Alexandria. And there's a few different, like, books called codexes that are part of it. So one of those codexes,
Codex Astartes,
is called the Hypostasis of the Archons.
Nice.
And the Hypostasis of the Archons describes them as an arrogant beast resembling a lion. Basically a serpentine body with a lion-like face.
Sounds dope.
So, let's see. In the Hypostasis of the Archons, a supplicant asks the great Elolith, "Teach me about the faculty of the Archons. How did they come into being, and by what kind of genesis, of what material, and who created them and produced their force?" The teachings given in response to this question are precise and detailed. Two distinct variants of the Archon type are indicated, and their behaviors are also specified, which are the fetal and the draconic. Due to the two distinct stages of their generation, the Archons are invested with an aggressive and divisive nature, fighting among their own ranks.
So you're trying to tell me that these parasite things blew up this library so we wouldn't know that they existed? Is that what we're getting at? Is that how that works?
I'm gonna keep going here. I like where your mind is at.
Okay.
But yes, but this is deeper. It gets deeper than that. So
can we keep it shallow?
So at another point it says, opening his eyes, he, the draconic Archon, saw a vast quantity of matter without limit spread through the galactic limbs, and he became arrogant, saying, "It is I who am God, the sole deity of these religions, and there is no other apart from me." So here's the thing. There's like that basically makes them of the ruler archetype of like extra dimensional being. Is basically what it classifies them as. So the ruler archetypes, their whole purpose is to basically twist humanity into not being a enlightened being.
Trying to keep us down.
Yeah, trying to hold us down.
What other kind of rulers are there?
So there's also like the Orion group. There's
Why does that sound like an investment firm?
Yeah. So the Orion group is basically a satanic force that has a predatorial ideology that uses females as slaves or breeders.
Where are they at?
While seeking territorial dominion on other planets within their warring and killing culture.
Can we just rule that the Orion group are gray men that wear business suits? Because that's what I'm picturing.
I mean, yeah, that's what... I mean, I could see that. I think that's perfectly possible. Like, let me see here. So, let me find...
So when you say, like, extra dimensional beings, are they, like, retarded? They have, like, extra dimensions?
Yes.
They were born with an extra dimension.
They have like 6 extra dimensions. So
oh, that's just Orion. He's got Down syndrome.
So let me see here. Okay, so like here's the thing. So the master of the Archons, according to these Gnostic texts, goes by the name of Yaldabaoth. which is awfully similar to Yahweh, which was the name of God in the Old Testament.
Yahweh! Yahweh!
Yahweh! So,
Yahweh!
So what's this guy's name?
Yaldabaoth.
Boeth!
Boeth. So, Yaldabaoth, basically, he's the one in charge of, like, deceiving humanity and, like, making us more violent and turning us away from pursuing knowledge and greater enlightenment.
He's just a giant pitcher of booze.
But here's the thing,
Where do you think
right?
booze came from?
He pissed it out.
All you have to do is think about what has caused more trouble than religion. If you want to dig into
Guns.
into this shit, yeah. But would we have needed guns?
Agriculture.
Would we have needed agriculture?
Agriculture is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
I think the dinosaurs are the reason we had guns.
I'll have to have a long talk with you about that. So yeah, basically the Archons.
Not wrong.
The Archons are the ones who created the church and religion and things like that, because it helps keep us down. Because instead of like pursuing what we naturally feel is right, it puts in like controls and like rules and things that like where someone else is dictating your behavior, like the Archons are after.
In the government.
And it's all with the idea that you're going to get this reward. You'll get this reward from it, like for being good. And like, which like reward systems and things like things that make you need stuff, like where you need like what's the word? Materialism. Thank you. Yeah. So materialism.
Like when you like show up out of nowhere, you materialism.
Which is exactly what the Archons do.
Alright, materialism me up.
Right. And the Archons, in addition to creating religion, also created television, because it's meant to indoctrinate us into seeing only the most extreme negative versions of humanity.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
What is it called? The internet. Because I'm pretty sure the internet is way worse than the TV.
I'm sure they're responsible for that too.
Because I don't really watch the news. The only thing I use the TV for is cartoons. So like, I'm pretty sure if that's the worst part about humanity, then we're good.
But those cartoons are filled with sex and violence, and they're
distracting.
corrupting our kids.
I didn't say I was watching manga. Watching cartoons. There's no sex in cartoons.
Or is there?
No, there's not.
We will have a whole nother episode about sex and cartoons, because Disney has been selling it to your kids for decades.
There's
Fake
dong
news.
everywhere.
Yeah, there's a
Fake
dick on
news.
the front of the Little Mermaid.
No, fake news. It's a castle.
Dick Castle.
Yeah, castle shaped like a dick.
Or is our dicks just shaped like a castle?
Mother of God.
It kind of looks like those the memes of the different like upgrading levels of intelligence.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like this
is all
whole
Archon
story
stuff.
is literally that.
Nice.
Like, except in the form of like half zombie, half fetus, cyborg zombie fetus babies.
I haven't seen any of those.
Well, we'll find them. So, okay. Let's get into this.
Thought we were already into it. We're going another level.
Yeah,
We're hitting that fifth dimension.
We gotta keep
I think
moving.
I got too many dimensions. It feels so good.
So you might be asking yourself, you're like, Mike, if all these like Archons is running around, like why ain't I see one with like my own two eyes?
You know, I just got an Archon with a net.
For some reason, when you said Guys, I think I got too many dimensions. My first thought was just like, quick, get this guy a black hole.
So, the reason everyone's not seeing them on a daily basis is because these creatures' energy signature is beyond our normal narrow range of vision within the electromagnetic spectrum, what scientists call visible light.
Yeah, they're in that part of the range where you can just make shit up.
Yeah.
X-rays.
For instance, here
Blu-rays.
I have here some pictures which are infrared photographs that show supposed images of these creatures.
Ha! Oh, man. Whew, looks like a panda.
Looks like an amoeba.
Shit.
That was like that, the manta ray that's always like smiling.
Also, UFOs?
No,
according to some
They're
people,
unidentified. I do not know them.
apparently, according to some people, UFOs might also be just Archons.
So they're just like discs.
Yeah.
Or lights.
So, yeah. So those could just be you seeing an Archon. Which is why they move so weird.
How do you know the difference between a fifth dimensional Archon and a fourth dimensional Archon?
What?
I was just trying to make up fake questions.
They can't reach the fifth dimension.
Why not?
Because
Fucking
they're
losers.
Archons.
Only we can reach the fifth dimension.
Yeah, we're special, so
But
we
aren't
can do
we
it.
only in 3 dimensions?
Can liberals get there too?
Supposedly, somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it without Jesus.
And go.
So yeah, and these things are what some people think causes,
Tides.
like demonic possession or like war or things like that, because it's just them twisting our nature.
So is this like the main villain in the next Wonder Woman movie then?
Could be.
Oh shit, it's Archaon. Get him.
Can anyone else not get past Ares being an effeminate British man with a mustache?
That was really weird.
I couldn't.
I was like,
hello.
I'm the God of War. I'm like, it's fitting that the God of War would be British, sure, but not effeminate with a mustache. I don't know, it wasn't doing it for me.
So, this guy, Robert M. Stanley, who describes himself as, quote, formerly a corporate journalist for Honda Research and Development. Robert is currently employed as a corporate editor for an international social compliance service. He's the author of 2 groundbreaking books, Close Encounters on Capitol Hill and Covert Encounters in Washington, D.C. He's the master of UnicusMagazine.com. He's the host of Unicus Radio Hour and has served as a correspondent for America's Morning News and America's Radio News Network.
So, what's his middle name?
Archon.
Well, it starts with an M.
It's an M. It's
Mark.
it's Marcon. Because,
Marcon.
Because, this guy's already freaking me out with 2 first names. Fucking Stanley and whatever his first name was.
So here's what he says. He says, after 3 decades of research and personal experience with this problem, it gives me great pleasure to present the antidote for the mental parasite many people are calling Archons.
Oh, so please tell me it's something you can buy.
It is appropriate
vaccine
to describe these holographic, tumorous thought forms as a cancer of consciousness, a term first created by author Colin Wilson in his 1967 novel The Mind Parasites.
So it kind of makes me think that he believes that consciousness itself is the cancer, and he himself is definitely an Archon. So I'm just throwing that theory out there.
He's probably the cure.
Mm-hmm.
What is the cure? Besides a band.
So he has learned that we not only
AIDS,
feed Archons with our negative thoughts and emotions, we actually help them reproduce.
It's just like you have AIDS. Congratulations.
Congratulations, you're Archon free.
That's why it's a lifetime disease.
Archons are just like, ew, gross. I don't want to deal with that.
Some people are unlucky. They have really powerful Archons that hold back the AIDS virus and keep it as HIV for the rest of their lives. They never get the full transformation.
That means they're hidden in view.
Exactly.
If you got the HIV,
Boom.
your Archons are hidden in view, so they're like barely obscured by your skin.
They're just like hiding,
Yeah.
sneaking out.
So this guy found
See you
out that,
peeking, Archon.
that not only do they eat negativity, it also makes them reproduce. So,
I don't
So
like
is,
that.
is the solution drugs?
so although it may seem too simple for some to
Might
accept,
help you get AIDS.
the antidote to the Archons is to control your thoughts.
That's boring.
I know.
Okay.
Like,
How? Is there like a remote for that? It's like,
But
put some kind of brain chip in there?
But by this point, everybody has anxiety. Nobody can control their thoughts. The Archons have pretty much won.
I know. All those, like, I'm sure this guy has a problem with, like, taking anxiety meds or something. So, you know, he'd be like, oh, don't take those anxiety meds. Those are, like, the will of the Archons. But it's like, how am I supposed to
Control my thoughts.
control my thoughts?
That's just an Archon supplement powder in pill form.
Like, this guy's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I don't like this guy.
Just control your thoughts.
But what I do like about him is that he used all stock photography on his thing here. So he's like, this is how people infected by Archons view the world. And it's like a person burying his head and saying, this is how people free of Archons view the world. It's like a guy with his arms outstretched. Like,
Crystal Redentor!
It's like, that's the shit that this guy used on his
Rio de
website.
Janeiro!
Angry, fearful, and hateful thought waves create chaos and distorts our DNA.
Yeah.
Which, basically, when the Archons tricked us into trying to make some sort of machine that would, like, let us harvest a new type of energy. And before we made that machine, we were all psychic. We were, like, super strong. Like, we didn't age. Like, we were like elves, but, like, badass and psychic.
Alright, so we got gnomes for super strength. We got the CIA trying to, in the MK Ultra, trying to give us our mind powers back. I feel like the government does some shady shit, but I feel like they're trying to help us against the Archons.
It could be, but also keep in mind the Archons like to control authority, so they are probably the ones in charge of
So
the
why would
government.
they want us to be psychic again?
Because then we can, like, pick up pizza easier. And we wouldn't have to, like, walk all the way over to get it. You could just, like, levitate it to yourself with your mind.
I thought
Same reason
Psychic.
anyone wants psychic powers.
I thought psychic was just being able to read minds.
Well, psychic is, like, the umbrella term. So, like, anything that you do with your mind is psychic.
Shit, so we're all psychic. Because I can think.
Everybody was psychic until we made that machine, and it, like, traumatized our DNA, and so now we aren't psychic anymore.
It's just like microscopic little robots talking to our DNA like, don't make me fuck you up anymore.
I'm gonna stab your DNA.
I'm gonna get rid of the rest.
with you.
I'm gonna get rid of the rest of those chromosomes. You see,
Just beating the shit out of your chromosomes.
they're distorting our view. They're actually psychic.
Exactly. I knew it.
Did they affect dinosaurs?
Nah, they're after the dinosaurs.
Was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs like maybe just like
Is that the one that brought the robots?
Yeah, was that just like an Archon that like was hammered drunk? Didn't realize.
So here's the kind of thing.
I'm gonna pull up at the last minute.
Dude, shit!
I'm
Look at
gonna
that Brontosaurus.
I'm gonna walk you through a scenario of an Archon feeding on you. So, like, you wake up, you're late for work. You're like, shit.
That's
You
every
go,
day.
So you go outside, and then your car won't start. You're like, fuck. So you're like trying to start your car over and over again. And then you finally get the car started and you're going, you hit a fucking red light. You're like, fuck. And then the light turns green, you get to the next light, it turns red. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's my life.
Like, that is basically an Archon fucking with you.
I knew it!
Because that Archon is like, I'm going to create misery and, like, misery and, like, grief and anger and jealousy. And those are, like, the things that they...
So if I can learn from Mr. Archon, I can focus my thoughts enough to banish the Archon, and my latent psychic energy will come back, and I'll be able to turn those red lights green.
You might be able to.
No, I think at that point you just psychically tell your boss, like, hey, I'm late.
And he'll be like, yeah, it's cool.
And he'll be like, get out of my head! He's not psychic and he's scared. And then you have to convince him that the Archons are real. And it's like a 2-hour-long conversation, and then they send you to jail.
Do you have a moment to talk about Archons?
Do you have a moment to talk about Archons? I am this close to proceeding to the next dimension.
Yeah, so, like, a lot of people think that...
Was that Matrix code?
Yeah.
I love it.
Dude, there are so many websites I go to that are, like, either, like, a black background with green writing, or the Matrix code for, like, the background, or...
I think...
like, stars, and then it's, like, a purple background with yellow writing, or shit like that, and you're like, oh my
I'm pretty
god.
sure I would prefer black background with green writing versus a green writing, or a green background with black writing, because that would just... Pretty sure I would die.
So, here's another thing you can do to help fight Archons.
Guns.
Stop calling them Archons.
Oh.
Because Archon
Well, why you been
means
saying that
rulers or lords, because they see themselves as the rulers and enslavers of humanity. So basically, like, by calling them Archons, you're like, yeah, you're in charge of me, and they're like, yeah, I am.
So what's the
And
proper
that makes them
pronoun
stronger.
then?
So what you should use, according to this author, is ankle biters.
Ankle biters?
Ankle biters.
Are they short?
Well, yeah, they're
This lets
microscopic.
them know exactly what you think of them, which is that they are lowly parasites, an infection of consciousness that will be purged from your system through proper use of your will via energetic clearing and makes them and transmutation.
I feel like
And also it pisses them off.
I feel like I need a PhD to understand all these big words, dude.
No, you need a lot of LSD to understand these words. That's what this shit is.
We should call them harbularies.
Harbularies? What the fuck does that mean?
Exactly.
Why would... What the fuck?
How do you spell Archaon?
Harbularies.
How do you spell this shit?
Archon. Archon.
Remember Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy? He kept saying they're called harbulary batteries.
Harbulary batteries?
No, they're not.
That is not what they're called. That's amazing. Holy shit. As you probably know,
No.
because we are a conspiracy theory podcast.
We are?
We're
No,
a
I mean,
truth
sometimes.
podcast.
Oh yeah, truth podcast.
Alt truth.
Alt truth. Alt truth podcast.
We're real news.
We're alternative truth podcast.
Boom.
Boom. So
real news coming at you.
What? If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. No matter what theory you dig into, no matter what it's about, it comes down to the Jews.
Every time.
You always find one guy who's like, it's the Jews. So,
Who's our lucky anti-Semite this time?
our lucky anti-Semite this time is a guy from godlikeproductions.com forums named Weltschmerz.
Okay.
Or Weltschmerz.
Can we call the Archons that?
Weltschmerz. I don't know what it means, but I like it. This guy is from Germany, and he doesn't like the Jews, which is very surprising.
I'm shocked and appalled.
basically he says that people can become possessed by these entities, and that he believes that Judaism has become possessed by them because they only talk about the Old Testament, which is about Yahweh, whereas the New Testament is about God. Because Jesus in the Bible never says that he serves Yahweh, even though that's what God is called all the way up until the New Testament. It's Yahweh, Yahweh. That's what everybody calls him. But when it hits the New Testament, Jesus is like, I serve the one true God instead of I serve Yahweh. So they're like, nah, that means he's working for Sophia. Like he knows the creation energy and like the real God force. So because the Jews follow the Old Testament, they're worshiping Yahweh, so they must be evil. That's this guy's argument. But he also believes Yahweh resides on the moon with his Archon minions on another frequency. And that's why we officially never went back there.
What's the frequency? I don't.
Whatever their frequency is.
But what is that? What does frequency mean?
It's whatever frequency they're at.
No, but like, what frequency am I at?
So like
28.
Oh shit, that's pretty high. What's a good frequency to be at?
Like 39.
Oh,
I'm almost at an 11. That's the frequency I'm at right now. I just keep hitting this thing over and over again, hoping that this will make sense. So I've told you guys about the 5 dimensions. Basically, what the 5 dimensions are whole reality.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just Googled Archon frequency just to see if Google could tell me what their frequency was. The top result is a video. Draco. It's all in caps, of course. Draco Archon brain parasite. Die when you play this. Parentheses, kills Satan's kid.
What?
It's a video?
Yeah.
Alright.
We should play it so that we can kill all our brain parasites.
Kill Satan's kid.
Play at the end of the podcast for everybody.
I'm gonna kill your kid, Satan. I don't give a fuck. I tried to sell my soul to you for like musical talent, and it didn't happen.
Satan's just like sitting in hell.
What if someone sold their like soul for musical talent, but he gave them like fucking no, it's like the only instrument that they're really proficient at is like the ukulele,
the kazoo.
The kazoo.
That's
like,
what happened to Weird Al Yankovic. That's why he's like good at the accordion, because he sold his soul for musical talent, and he's like, it's like shit. I don't want to keep making accordion songs. I guess I'll just keep writing.
All right, everybody, let's do another polka song.
Said no one ever.
No, just Weird Al.
So there's the 5 levels, the 5 dimensions of reality, which is whole reality, which is finite and infernal.
Is that number 1?
Yeah.
Number 1.
That's number 1.
Infernal
There's
dimension
parasite
represent?
reality. And parasite reality is the 2nd dimension.
That's the
Is that where we're at?
That's where these things are, the Archons.
Wait, so they're actually 2D and we're 3D.
And they can slip into our 3rd dimensional existence. So like basically we are the barrier between enlightenment and like subjugation and like negativity. Humans are like in 3rd dimensional reality, which is what we're in right now. Then 4th dimensional reality is the paradise reality, which is infinite and eternal. And then beyond that is whole reality, which is enlightenment.
Okay, so there's paradise, and then beyond that is enlightenment.
Yeah.
So if you
Can we just get to paradise?
I mean, that's what the Archons want you to do.
Well, they
want you to only get to paradise so that you aren't achieving the full potential of humanity.
So
I'm okay with that.
What's beyond paradise? Like
Mega paradise.
Beyond paradise?
Double paradise.
it's like everything you get in paradise, but you get 2 of them.
Beyond
Twins.
paradise. Beyond paradise is buy one get one free week at Goodberries. That's what's beyond paradise.
Yeah, it's heaven, but BOGO.
BOGO?
It's buy one get one free paradise.
So, Palmer, what do you think of Archons?
I don't think of them.
Gotta control your thoughts.
I control my
sorry.
thoughts.
What do you think of ankle biters?
Shit. They ain't nothing. I'm gonna reach paradise. Mega paradise. You'll see.
They're trying to keep you from getting to mega paradise, son.
Nah, they can't stop me.
Can't stop it.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't
All
stop.
I do is win no matter what.
Sit down.
Just
Be humble.
just like skip right over paradise.
Sit down.
Skip right over paradise to true enlightenment, and you're just like, let's say, but
You're just like, watch this. I'm just gonna jump through dimensions real quick. You're like, oh, this one looks kind of sweet.
just run and jump out the window.
Yahweh!
No, he's an Archon. You can't talk to Yahweh. Can't trust Yahweh. He's an Archon.
Wait, who can I talk to that's not an Archon? Who do I believe in?
Sophia.
Sophia!
Yeah, there you go.
Just jump out a window, scream Sophia, but instead of hitting the pavement, you just slide right through. you go straight to the next dimension.
No, that would just take it straight to China.
Maybe China's the next dimension.
Like, when I was researching this, I was reading about Gnosticism, and I was like, this shit is kind of dope. Like, it's, like, all about, like, good versus evil, and, like, good is, like, enlightenment is, like, what you're supposed to try to reach, and, like, evil is, like, the man trying to hold you down. And it was really cool.
I do like the struggle. It's very poetic.
Yeah, and, like, the Gnostics, they were all about, like, collecting knowledge, which, like, I'm obviously into. They're like, we need to learn everything about everything. And that's why they made the library, because they were like, we need to know everything about everything and keep it so that
one
humanity will know.
Very flammable place.
Yeah, and, like, the
in the middle of a desert.
The Archons created war because Archons are masters of making false realities, or, like, falsifying things in reality. So, like, they created war so that we would burn down the library and, like, basically erase our own history is what they wanted us to do, because that lets them slide into the DMs of our brain.
What if there was, like, some king or, like, a pharaoh at the time, and he was like, shit, I'm about to go down in history as, like, the worst pharaoh. I'm just gonna burn that shit down. Start over.
His, like, advisor had recorded the time that, like, his, like, dress thing had fallen off and his dick had been shown to the whole crowd. Like,
or like a spider, like, walked across his foot and he screamed like a girl.
Yeah.
Burn it down.
He's like, burn it down. We can't have people finding out about this.
They're in a library and the spider walks through it and they're just like trying to kill the spider with fire and accidentally erase all of human history.
Was like one guy,
the spider
probably me in a past life, like smoking a blunt in the library.
Oh, shit.
And just like, and then like the head Gnostic dude walks by, and I'm like, oh shit, and like try to put it out real quick, and I caught the whole library on fire.
Yo, Gnostic, wanna hit this? Oh shit!
Oh shit!
I just imagine it's the woman from The Mummy, you know, like when she knocked all the she just like knocks all the whole, like the torches go flying everywhere and just burns it down. Like, I'm sorry.
Oops.
My bad.
Yep. That's what I think happened in a past life.
Speaking of The Mummy, wasn't there like a new one that was released?
No.
Like a remake?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it's not good?
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Jumanji was pretty good.
Jumanji was awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Jack Black was the best part of that movie, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, that was gonna be my shout out this week.
Oh, really? Jack Black was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Jack Black freaking killed it.
So, what do you think, Archons, Ryan?
Yeah, I actually would like to dig more into this at some point because it is pretty interesting. I feel like once I can project my own new reality of dimensions, I want to travel back and read, all the stuff that got lost in the library so I can find out our true history.
That'd be pretty fucking dope.
It just says nothing but sex. It's just like
Nothing
a
but
giant
dick
archive
pics
of
of, like,
sex
every
and
Gnostic
dick
guy
pics.
ever.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be hilarious. What if like the Archons or whatever ankle biters are able to travel back in time and they just replace the entire library of Alexandria with fucking
With
dick
Archon
pics?
dick pics? It's just like a bunch of fetus dicks, like, drawn in the...
They're
the
like
pages.
they're like making up fucking prophecies that they know is gonna happen,
It's
and
just
like
every page you turn, it's just blinding light.
oh
It's
wait,
just burning the image into your brain.
it's like
Their
okay,
dick.
okay, next page.
It just sears it straight into your retina, so that, like, no matter what, there's just a fucking, like, zombie fetus dick, like, in your vision.
No, you know how like
No matter what
if
you
you
do.
like you see those squigglies in your eyes every once in a while when you're like looking
That's
off
an
into the-
Archon.
Yeah, no, but like what if they just change that to look like dicks? That's what happens. You go back in time to the
Squiggly
library of
That's
Alexandria and you
probably
just see
why
nothing but dicks.
That's probably why you get the squigglies, because it's an Archon floating past your eyeballs showing you his dick. It's just to, like, taunt you because you can't reach enlightenment now. They're like, yeah, how you like that, motherfucker? You're like, fucking Archons.
I just see you get to that fifth dimension now, bitch.
That's obscene. So,
All I'm saying is, I run into an Archon on the street, it's over.
Archons, you better not catch me in the street.
I'm gonna show you these hands.
You better keep my name out your mouth, Archon.
I'm just gonna be like, yo, gnomes, take this
Take this
motherfucker out.
And then like you have like a clown car, but it's just full of gnomes, and there's like fucking 600 gnomes in there.
With, like, Bigfoot riding on the back of the Yule Cat. For, like, it's like a fucking He-Man sword in his hand.
I have the power.
Bigfoot seems like the kind of dude I could hang out with.
I'd love to hang out with a Bigfoot. I've seen, like, aliens, and I've seen ghosts. I've never seen a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
I'd really
city
like to.
dwellers.
Yeah.
They tend to steer clear of city folk.
I thought for sure, like, one day I'd be able to see a Bigfoot. But nah. So, do you have any shout-outs this week, Palmer?
Next.
Okay, what about you, Ryan?
I already used mine. I didn't have a backup.
Oh, no. So, yeah, I don't really have any other shout-outs either that I can think of. I do want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for, like, everything you guys have done for us over the last year. It's been fucking crazy. I thought we wouldn't even have, like, 50 listeners, and we're up to, like, 95,000, something like that.
Holy
so
shit.
it's a lot of fucking people.
What up, y'all?
What up? I don't know why you listen, but I am glad that you do.
Well, what?
We're not psychic. We don't know why you listen. Those damn Archons.
Yeah. I don't have any listener stories this week, so I'm gonna just read a couple of reviews to you guys. So the first review I have here is the first review I have here is from SC Wilson, who says, "Good job."
Thanks.
All that
Thanks,
build-up
buddy.
for you to just say, "Good job."
Good job.
I feel like that might be sarcastic.
We have I could
Is that a
read you,
sarcastic review?
dude. We have some, like, 1-star reviews, and I could read you those, which are pretty funny. Did I tell you these yet, Palmer?
No, but that fucking good job review is top notch.
Good job.
You're just like, I got this one review right here. It's a dope review. It's gonna blow your mind. This review is really awesome. Let me pull this review up real quick. It says, from this person at this time of day. It just says, Good
Good
job.
job.
I feel like it's just
All that
someone.
build up for fucking good job.
Good
I
job.
feel like someone just felt like he was impressed that we were able to even.
How did you guys
get-
manage to get this on the
Exactly.
It feels like
I
you
didn't
should have
think
said
you guys
like
were capable of
should have given
actually
us a
working
banana
on it.
sticker.
Not only
That's
have
what
you,
it feels like.
Not only have you uploaded one episode,
But
you've
many.
uploaded several.
It's
Impressive.
Like, it's like a banana
4 stars.
sticker on our reviews.
Didn't think you guys would be capable of using it, let alone putting up a podcast.
4 stars for being able to upload your own podcast. 0 stars for content.
So Palmer,
Inane gibberish.
this person literally wrote a better description for what our show is than I did for our summary of the show.
Just say,
It
job.
says, this is from True Crime Fan 88. They say, 1 star. I would give it less stars if I could. They're like, no structure and no research. If you ever wondered what you and your college buddies' conversation sounded like when you spent the entire day smoking weed, you have this podcast. They're reinventing the wheel.
I think you could do that. It's pretty dope.
Wait, they gave us 1 star for reinventing the wheel.
I know.
Clearly, they don't realize the historical impact of creating a wheel.
How important the wheel
That-
was,
that
and we
means-
just made another one.
So that means that person just gave us a review so high that it is going to impact the rest of human history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
I appreciate it. Sit down. Be humble. So,
If I could give this less stars, I would put it into the next dimensions.
Simple wrong could have done, but okay.
Simple, not a good job. I mean,
it's like,
I feel like that would hurt really bad.
they're like, you
you
did
guys
okay.
suck. 2
Yeah.
stars.
You did all right.
I would love to see a review that just
I
is
didn't vomit.
it's like 5 stars.
We
I
did
didn't really
get
mean to put 5 stars, but I can't be bothered to change it.
we did get
Too
a
late.
4-star and a 2-star, and I'm like, who gives either 4 or 2 stars? Like,
I
it's why? Like, what's the nuance to that?
Well, why would I give it 5 stars if it's basically the way I do it, right? It's like when I used to have to rate Netflix movies. Is I would give it 3 stars if I could make it through the movie, no matter how bad it is. If I could finish the entire movie, I'd give it 3 stars. If I liked it, it'd be 4. If it was a great movie, it'd be 5. If it got 1, I literally couldn't make it through 5 minutes. And then 2 was like, I got about halfway through the movie. There's very few of those because I can tolerate a lot of shit. I sat there. I mean, I love B movies, really bad B movies.
Me too.
And Bollywood movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think most Bollywood movies are 4 hours long, with at least 8.
With at least 2
8 to
musical
10
numbers.
No, I was about to say at least 8 to 10 scenes that are just everybody from that previous scene dancing in song and dance. I'd give them most 3 stars. Except the robot. That one was dope.
That the one where he slides the horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was
I think that was the robot.
Will that be cash or card?
God.
Okay, your total is 2,000 rupees. Will that be cash, check, or charge? Gun.
So, my shout out this week is to everybody who has supported us on Patreon. Shout out to Chris, Charles, Max, Liz,
We have more than one?
Rebecca, Elias, and Crystal.
Wait, how many? Was that 8 people? Or
Yeah,
7? Wow.
it's 7 people.
Thanks for supporting our Patronus.
Yeah,
don't even
thanks for
know who-
supporting our Patronus.
I don't think I've ever heard of those names before.
Yeah, you aren't in the Facebook group as much as me and Ryan, I don't think.
It's because Facebook's Archon.
Yeah, that's true. It's ruled by Archons. But yeah, so
My shout out is going to be the movie The Robot.
that was
Check
a
it out.
dope-ass movie.
It's about 3.5, 4 hours long.
Worth it.
I can tell you right now, there's a scene where he talks to a mosquito, and it's a good movie Kinda. Okay, it's okay. It's a bad movie in a good way. It's a great movie.
Shout out to the Godzilla movies that I got for Christmas because I'm gonna watch those. I heard one of them has like a guy on a submarine with like a samurai sword.
I mean,
Final Fight.
Hold on, don't all submarines have a guy with a samurai in it? I mean, a samurai?
You'd think they should because it's really tight quarters and you'd want a samurai for protection.
Yeah, because I mean, they could just block off a whole corridor. It's like, try me. Like
you get boarded, they see a samurai standing there, they're like,
I'm out.
I don't want to fuck with this.
I ain't trying to get sliced in half.
Yeah, I see Rurouni Kenshin.
I've seen that guy. I've seen that guy slice a lot of bamboo sticks in half. All I'm saying. I ain't trying to do that.
Rurouni Kenshin don't even have to hit him with the sharp side of the sword for them to die.
What if like, Inuyasha was like the main person blocking you from getting in, dude? I mean,
They ain't getting past him.
Yeah.
I'd take his girl. I'd be like, yo, what up, new waifu? Like, and then I'd take her out to the top of the submarine and throw her off, and then he'd chase her because he's a dog, and then I'd get in the sub.
It'd probably work.
I don't know. I'm really stoned. So,
good job.
Good job, us. Thank you guys for listening. You're all amazing. Send us your emails with like anything you want to tell us, any of your weird fucking like stories, anything spooky. Send them to weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever it is you listen to podcasts.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button because those reviews help us more than anything else. Like, for real. And check out our Patronus.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you and we want to keep doing this forever.
Hello, my darlings. I'm Sammy, the host of Encrypted. Every 2 weeks, I will bring you stories of mystery, true crime, and creepy. You can find me on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have a story? I would love to hear it. You can go to the Encrypted Podcast discussion group on Facebook. On Twitter, you can find us at EncryptedPod, or you can go to accproductions.org/encrypted. Don't forget to lock your doors and hold tight to your flashlight.
Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe. And
we are
the Fringe Boys.
The hosts of Cast into the Fringe, a weekly dive into time travel,
aliens,
conspiracies,
nerdy virgins,
and many other strange things the government doesn't want you to know.
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Cast into the Fringe.
and check out our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
Hi, this is Jim.
And this is Annabelle.
Together, we bring you the Forgotten News Podcast.
We tell true stories from long ago. Stories from before you were born. Stories that made headlines for a week or a month, then vanished, just as suddenly. We look for these long-lost stories, then brush off the dust and share them with you, as fresh as the day they were first told.
One thing we definitely promise you, the stories you will hear will always be a surprise, and it will be a true story.
It might be a crime story. It might be a strange or spooky story. It might be a funny story.
If you are someone who might like to hear lost stories like these, then you should definitely listen to the Forgotten News Podcast.
The Forgotten News Podcast is available on iTunes, also known as Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Play, Podbay, Player FM, and nearly every app for listening to podcasts.
I don't know what else to say, except be sure to listen to the Forgotten News Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. I'm Sarah, the host of the Salty Canadian podcast. You want a podcast that is full of fun, rants, reviews, and just random stuff? Then this is a podcast for you. We can be found on any podcast catcher, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and have a great day. Eh?
Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.